Hello, good morning, and welcome to part two of this video where I play a no limit single draw tournament and try to make some progress. And well, I've actually made the top five of that. This first hand here, by the way, is not no limit single draw. This is Badugi. You can tell I've got almost no chips. I'm basically going to commit with this pretty ropey three card hand. It's Ralin, who I think is from Romania, has decided to re-raise, and I've got to hope that A, I hit my hand, and B, somebody else doesn't hit a better one. I miss here. Second draw now. So anything on my single draw table. Go back to that. Miss again. And they both actually hit Badoogies. I don't. And I am out, which is kind of fun. 70 minutes. Didn't get very far in that tournament at all. Things just didn't go according to plans. It's Moby Dick. Now he's somebody I don't particularly want to see here. He's decided to fold there, raise, and had a 10-9 draw. Don't like this. I mean, how bad would calling be? If it went multi-way, if somebody calls, somebody else calls, maybe I'd call then. Hope to hit an 8 or a 9, but decided just to fold. I had six, see, I had 6, 5, 4, 3. Um, Now this time I've got an altogether different sort of hand. I have a pat smooth 10, so it's a very, very strong hand. So Moby Dick, he's a very experienced campaigner. He normally plays bigger buy-in tournaments than this. This is only 440. He's normally up in the $11 level. Now I have to re-raise this. I have no real choice but to re-raise, and I think I would have to call, but it's not deep enough for me to get away from this hand. If he got it all in, I think I would have to call. So let's see what he does. He might just call himself. He's got one of three things he's going to do. He calls, and this is not something I'm too excited about. And this is a problem for me now because if he bets, well, do I call? Thankfully, he doesn't hit clearly. I think actually he hit something close to what I had there. Don't know if I show it here, but I think he had like a 10-8 or 10, yeah, 10-7 or something. It's really quite close to what I actually had. Or 10-9 was it? Okay, 10-9. Ugh, he didn't bet there, which is kind of interesting. Um, So here we are. We're all going to make the money. Only five people get paid, but we're into the final five here. And you see I'm in second place. This Scabby Dog, who had an incredible start to the tournament. Very first hand drew two. Oh, it's funny how they've all come out in order. That Broadway, drew two. Clearly terrible play, but made a 8-7-5-3-2 or something. I think it was. Won a big, and then won a big pot immediately afterwards. And there was me sitting with few more chips than what I started with. He was, with this towering stack on the third hand that he played or something. It was utterly ridiculous. Make a jack here. He doesn't. He doesn't draw. And actually, I have a better hand than him. Okay, so I'm kind of very similar stack size to Scabby Dog now. And I just decided to call him. I don't want to get blown off this hand. The problem is Zeus could go all in here, but he doesn't. Make two fives. Could win occasionally. He bets half the pot, and I let it go. There we go. A little while later, 9-7 draw on the button. Very nice hand to have on the button. Decided to fold though. It's a little bit too much to call off with that sort of draw. Also got garbage here. Tournament's going for 2.25 hours by this stage. 303, 304 hands. Scabby Dog draws one. Zeus draws one. How does it play out? That's the pot. Oof. What's Zeus going to do here? He folds. Okay. So now Scabby Dog has a clear lead over everybody else. I'm in second place, and oh, Moby Dick, that's interesting. He just limps in, then calls that raise. Unfortunately for Moby Dick, I'm quite glad about this fund. So I don't actually think Scabby Dog is very good. He's just been very lucky so far. As I think Moby Dick is a much better player than him. Well, I don't know, much better, but clearly better anyway. He's much more experienced. So I didn't mind that Moby Dick got knocked out there. He was a favourite on that hand. Got unlucky. Scabby Dog has been riding his luck through this whole thing, and if, it also means that I still have a clear lead over the two people in third and fourth place. So I don't want to finish, third or fourth here. I'm already thinking if I can get into, I really should be targeting the top two here. It should be I shouldn't be finishing in the bottom two here, but you never know. Things can conspire against you. The most obvious way that happens is if you have a big hand and somebody else has a bigger one. Like Scabby Dog makes an 8 or something, and I have a 9. Well, probably gonna end up losing my whole stack and finishing in fourth place. Anyway, so my two twos win that three-way pot, which is fairly unusual. It's been a little slight little chip up there, only a little one. I decided to fold. Ooh, I don't know whether I should have called there 7-6-4. Probably worth just popping in, completing the small blind with that one. Close though. It's funny how with 8-7-4 I probably would, which is kind of weird. Seem more likely to make a straight with 7-6-4. It's not. This should be a massive consideration in this game. I think I should have popped in the call. Anyway, a lot of chips flying in though. And wow, so Zeus gets very unlucky there, makes an 8, rough 8, and Filio, HJ Filio is yeah, makes the number 5, and wow. So now down to three nines. Call the ambulance with that one. I think I've said that before. And decide to. Oh, now he just goes all in. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have raised there. It's a 2-card hand, but 2-card draw rather. So HJ Filio and me were pretty close. So $20, $21 guaranteed for third place now. So it's going to be a profitable tournament for me regardless. But if you look at the payouts, that they're really quite top heavy here. So number 1 gets gets almost double what number 2 does, which is unusual. Normally the drop off isn't that steep. So I'm thinking if I do make it to heads up, really need to go for the win here. You always want to go for the win, but the difference between first and second is really quite big. So Scabby Dog, well, what's he going to do here? He's doing a lot of chips. He's actually been playing. I think he's been playing all right. Actually, I think he's the beginning. He did some stuff that was really, ill-advised and got away with it. But take that down with my rough jack. Not getting involved with this one. Okay. So he's got about half the chips in play now. Scabby Dog. And let that one go. I've got enough here to open clearly. Go to that amount, 10-6-5-4. He raises all in. Oh, so it's the second time he's done that, and I just have to let it go. Well, that's a little bit frustrating, isn't it? It's just shoves on me there. Same again, I suppose. Two-card draw with 8-6-3. Quite happy just to see the draw here. And make. Oh, well. Decided to check raise here. Ah, that's an interesting play. I actually decided to go for the check raise, thinking he might think I'm not believe me or something. So that was a heck of a result for me there. It's not that strong a hand to check raise with, but It was interesting that I was able to get it paid off. And he had 10-7, so I don't know whether that was the right play there at all, but I don't think there's any harm in mixing things up occasionally, and I did there, and I profited from it, so that was nice. He just had a better hand though. He had a 10. So the fact that he bet kind of small, I don't know whether betting the jack was okay. It's not too bad though. A lot of the time I'll just check that there. So what am I doing there? So again, I really want to at least finish in the top two. So obviously, I'm expecting if I do make the top two, it'll be me against Gabby Dog. Might be, but who knows, right? So I just call here. He's gone pretty big. Could make a jack. What's he got? If he, I'm thinking, do I call if he bets here? It's about half the pot. I decide to pop in the call, and I have the best hand, which is interesting. So he's actually demonstrating he's a better player than I thought. He's putting in he's bluffing there, which is a good play, and kind of blockers and stuff there. So I think even though he lost that hand, he's demonstrating he does actually know what he's doing. So you've always got to be careful of that. Just don't earmark people as hopeless or terrible just on the basis of one decision they make. I think that's really, really important. I think people do that uh, a little bit too readily. Just, oh, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Why am I not raising? Why did I not raise there? I know, I guess it's a case of mixing it up a little bit, and people might not think I actually have a strong hand here. They both fold. Yeah, that was weird. Maybe it's just a pot control thing. It's funny looking back at this at a tournament I played the night before last. You do things that you don't expect to do, which is interesting. 98. Nice, really nice hand to get on the button there. If he shoves, I'll just call him. Let's see. If he shoves, what do I do now? So he could just shove after the draw. Bet just under half the pot. He folds. So I've actually taken over the lead now. And HJ Filio is so actually kind of looking forward. I'm thinking, well, I don't know. Do I want to play Scabby Dog if I make it heads up? Which is much more likely to be Scabby Dog than HJ Filio. But now this is interesting. That's a raise with a two card draw. And see how Filio didn't just get it all in there, and he wins that one. So he's been kind of winning all these pots where he's needed to win to survive in the tournament, and now he's basically doubled up. Um, Thinking I'd rather face Filio than Scabby Dog actually. Decide to fold there. Sometimes I'll raise there, So I'm raise and pat there sometimes. I just decide, I think I'm a little bit cautious here, Maybe a bit too cautious. Blind's about to go up again, and so now what do I want to do here? Do I decide to bet? No, I don't. And times when I might have bet there. I'm being a little bit cautious, aren't I? Okay, so I get a nice little. Do I raise this? Surely I raise this one. Am I going to pat this? Okay, I don't know what. That's interesting. Would I have drawn or would I have patted? I think I was going to pat there. Just, I mean, in all draw games, it's the most fun you can have, isn't it? Just to pat something without having a real hand. Um, yeah, snow or the pat is just. I remember Badugi, it was addictive. It was just so addictive to do that back in the day. Just problem I'm facing with the Badugi, the fixed limit Badugi tournaments and things, or even the pot limit, is that it doesn't. So I decide not to re-raise it because I don't want to get blown off my hand. Make an ace. Um, Now, will he bluff this? Potentially. I decide to fold. He's gone pretty big. So that time when he bluffed, he bet half the pot. This time it's the full pot. You know, who knows? He might have had a pair or something, but I just feel an ace is just not worth calling with. Interesting if he. So Scabby Dog goes all in and he survives that. He wins a huge pot, an absolutely massive pot considering the strength of his hand. Oh, did I decide to? Did I have 8, 10, 8, 6, 2? Is that what I had? I folded. Is that what I did? Hmm. A few questionable plays for me. So Scabby Dog has been crippled now, and HJ Filio is again he can't do anything wrong here, can he? He makes the nuts. So wow. So this final table every time he's been things all just come up roses for me, and we're at the heads up stage now, and this was an absolute doozy, by the way. So I have a slight chip disadvantage here. Um, and you can see just by the length of the video here that it's not going to be a quick heads up. It's really not going to be a quick one. So I'm eating into his small chip lead here. Decide to check, draw 2. Now, still don't think heads up is my best discipline, but I've had a bit of practice now, I've had a bit of experience. And actually my 2 4s are the best hand there. So actually winning a lot of these little pots right at the beginning of the heads up. I think he had 2 6s. So I just raise and he folds, which is kind of interesting. And I think I make some mistakes here. I don't think he's playing very well, honestly, but I think I make 1 or 2 mistakes when I look back that I actually in the small blind, I feel the small blind is something that I didn't play very well, where I needed to actually. So he's doing an awful lot of just completing the small blind there. I draw 1 there. He draws 2. Got a king. It's the best hand. You see, a lot of the time you see me drawing 1 in that spot in the big blind with drawing 1 to a very, very weak hand. Okay, it's been very, very passive, this guy, and and it feels like it's easy to play against. So I'm actually taking the lead from him now. Folds there, an easy 2-card draw for me there. So I fold. I mean, there I think it is a fold, but there was some situation where I fold the small blind where actually it would have been better just to have completed as he did most of the time. I always feel it's weak to just complete because it's very exploitable. But I don't think he was the sort of person who's going to exploit it. So you're getting odds, the antes are there and everything. So he's not getting he's not being very active here. This guy. I mean, he might just not have many hands. We've all been there for quite long periods of just barren. Um, yeah, handless. Anyway, raise this, fold. So you see, I've actually got a 1.5 to 1 lead now, just by not by even without winning any big pots, right? Even any medium-sized pots, really. Decide to draw 1 to make an ace here, which is kind of funny. And again, it ends up being the best hand. He must have paired up. I felt that was the best chance of winning the pot was to draw 1 and just try to take down a little pot. You know, even though most of the time you're not going to do. Most of the time he's actually going to beat that. But okay, just going to check that back. Really bad jack. I win that as well. So I'm winning a lot of these small pots. I actually have quite a big lead. Now this is where things start to turn. Decide to um to pat this, which seems like a good play. Let's tell you before, I do like to pat stuff sometimes. I bet sort of 60% of the pot or whatever that is, and then he raises. I pretend to think about it a little bit, um, but actually, of course, I'm going to fold because I've got trips. It wouldn't have been funny if he had a straight there. So now lose a little bit of ground there, and I think I decided I might have drawn there actually because an 8-7 draw is very strong. There's potential to take his whole stack if I hit there, maybe even as strong as that. So we've got to be thinking about that. I think it's a no limit game, and if you have a reasonable chance of making a big hand, then you should try. You probably err on the side of doing that. Decide to open like my jack drawer, hit a queen. He has a better queen, so it's like a great start I made to the heads up. It's just I'm not able to continue it, you see, and this heads up. Very very little three betting, so I actually call here. I guess I do pop in the call. I didn't realize I did that very often. Make 10-4, so I just bet there and he folds. He's not giving me a lot of action after the draw, so or at all, honestly. That does change, as you'll see. He changes his strategy a little bit, maybe because he's just hitting some better hands. This heads up just runs and runs and runs. I actually have a straight there. Okay. Pat Jack. We fold, so wow. I fold this. So it's actually one of the rare times he actually raises before the draw, but doing very, very little of it, which makes me think that when he does raise, he actually probably has something pretty good, like a pat hand or a really strong draw, because he's been so. And I feel like I changed the way I play a little bit, where I become more passive myself, and then I realise that I shouldn't be doing that. I should be just playing my own game. Um, this is an interesting one. So I do raise, but actually I'm probably not a favourite here at all. I might only make a king, obviously. He has a 10-9. He doesn't bet it, right? You need to bet a hand like that. Your heads up. Everything. A hand like that just shoots way up in value. Have a pat 10-9 here. On the second worst 10 you can have. Try to raise this, you see. He calls. Now I'm not liking life at all. We're going to hit twos, threes. Now all of a sudden he's back in front again. It's like, well, how did that happen? How did that happen? I've been winning all these pots. But you see I've actually fast forwarded a bit here. This is not. This has gone so long now. So, and only just at the start of the heads up, by the way. Only just at the start. So it feels like we've been playing for ages heads up, but actually we're only just at the start, as you will see. We played 354 hands before heads up, so we played 64 hands now. This is why I'm showing this. This is something quite special, as you will see. Now 4:30, you'll see those numbers tick over. Look at the numbers in the oh gosh, the bottom left there says Mâine împărțite. I have it in Romanian. That number, it's got 431. You can see it now. And that was a break. Just decided to have I took a short break there. Oh, now he decides to fold, to shove and all his money, and I get out of the way, and I don't know whether that was the right thing to do. Probably was actually, but because he hadn't been doing that, so I'm thinking the bar's got to be pretty high for him to shove there. And Jack is probably not going to be good enough. Jack with a compromised draw too. Anyway, got a good draw here. Just fold. So we're very, very close in terms of chip stack again. Blind's about to go up once more. So up to 475 now, 476. You can see that those numbers have ticked over there. So I've actually won a number of pots in a row, or a reasonable number. So now, so he was in the lead. I've caught him up. I've got a slight lead myself now. Been sort of nip and tuck this, hasn't it? Nice to see those numbers again. Right, win with a jack, so keep thinking I should be able to put this guy away. Decide to call and draw here rather than 3-bet. Make a 10. Bet just about half the pot, and he folds, okay. So normal circumstance, I'd 3-bet there, right? Against somebody who's a normal opponent who's a bit more aggressive. I'd have 3-bet before the draw there all day, every day. But because it's him, I decide not to do it because I'm probably not that ahead there, really. I'd be like flipping against what he raised with. And I bet there because I've got two kings. So a nice rule is if you hit a big pair, like bigger than any of the cards that you hang on to when you draw two, then it's probably a good idea to bluff. Or if you hit two pair, if you hit trips as well. Big draw here. Do hit it. What do I do? Bet half the pot. He folds. So it's funny. I feel like I'm making most. So 5-2-8 now. So now, so 3-5-4. So we've played 107. There's 175 hands now of heads up. So I'm fast forwarding through a lot of this because this is this incredible number of hands. See the time as well. Fold there. And spend most of the time very close in terms of chip stacks. So I raise a 2-card drawing calls, which is a bugger. Both draw 2, make ace queen, check it down. Yeah, he's got 2-4, so I do win that one. Blinds up again. So now that number's clicked over now to 5-4-8. Remember 3-5-4. So closing in now on 200 hands of heads up play. This is quite staggering how long this has been going on for. 3-4s. I think I might have tried to raise there or do something aggressive with that one. Just cannot put him away at all. And he can't put me away either. But I don't feel he's playing very well. I feel he's been very, very passive for whatever reason. Now, just decide to raise this. Calls me. Hopefully he can hit something. I really hope he can hit something. And he calls me. And this feels like it's a big moment, right? So now I'm up by about 2-1. So we're now over 200 hands of heads up. 3-5. Oh no, 3-5-4. Had a jack. So he called me there with a jack. So yeah, we are over 200 hands. We're up to about the 214th hand of heads up now. Huge number, isn't it? God. Now, unfortunately, I 3-bet with my jack, and then he comes over the top there, and maybe I shouldn't have even 3-bet there. So now 98 draw. It's funny. I feel like I've been making most of the running before the draw, and then he's just decided to raise, get a little bit of money in there. Trouble is, I'm probably not ahead of his range here at all. Make a 10-8. Bet nearly half the pot. He folds. Whew, it's been really, really hard going here. Now you can see his strategy starting to change a little bit. Yeah, 10-7, big hand to get here. If he shoves, I'm calling this. Do I bet? Do I bet this? Should do. Fold. So now I feel that but you can see I drop back again, right? A little bit and call. See, I call, and now I'm thinking, well, so he's drawing one, so I'm drawing one, and I pair my 8, and he wins, and I'm like, I don't know what draw he had, whether he had the 8 draw or one of the 9 draws. If he had one of the 9 draws, obviously I was a favourite there. I shoved this one. So now look, I'm way behind all of a sudden as a result of that big pot now. So I'm 3-1 down now. It's a little bit unfortunate because I was happy to call there because he had been shoving a little bit. Do I decide to just check there? Oh God, why didn't I bluff? I don't know why I didn't bluff there. Okay. Yeah, things are not going well for me at all. Um, So I think I just put all my money in here, and he calls me, right? So I've got to win this to survive. Draws one, makes a queen, and I hang on with my fingernails, but I'm not far away from him now, so that there's a flip there that I win. Keep me in the keep me in this heads up battle, which is now over 200. Well, it's coming up to 250 hands. I don't think I've never played this many heads up in my life. I think I've gone to about 200 before. And the 3-5-4 is what we started on. So this is the 255th hand of heads up. It's very close. Chip stacks are very close. Bingo, stupid, whatever he says. Bingo, stupid idiot. Thank you very much. As I say, there is an idiot here, but I think it's somebody to my right, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, shoves there, and I fold. I fold my jack, and ugh, I've got a boat here. Would you believe? Got a boat. Draw four. Make two jacks. Don't decide to bluff this one. He's got a queen, and that's more than enough to beat me. Blinds up once again. So many blind levels here. Of course, 8-minute levels, and I've actually won 60% of my showdowns now. So a showdown record at the heads up hasn't been as good as it was in the tournament prior to heads up. Jack, I feel like I probably should have bet there, you know. Maybe he'd have called me. Yeah, these were two card draws. I sometimes think whether I should just even something as weak as that, whether I should have just seen the draw, you know. It's been a lot of weird play. So he's been very passive, except the all ins. That's been where he's been kind of all or nothing. He's just limping, calling, or he goes all in. That's a little bit tricky to play against. Whereas well, I don't know, it's tricky, but it's in some ways it's easy. It's easy to deal with, I think, than somebody who um, raises and re-raises a lot with a much wider range, which is what most people do. Um, it does have, I mean, because he does go all in quite a lot, I have to make a decision about. And now he's gone all in here, and I'm right at the bottom of my range here. After that hand, I remember consciously thinking I need to tone down those opens, right, with things like two card draws and really rough one card draws. So I fold there, which is a mistake. The way I need to actually just see the just limp there, right? It's okay to do that in the small blind. It's not a now I make a mistake by keeping the two clubs. Oh my God. So to bet 2/3 of the pot, he folds. Damn. Gosh, I keep the three clubs there. That's a terrible error. Got away with it though. So we're now closing in on 300 hands of heads up. Look at that number, 643rd hand of the tournament. It's been incredible. So we're basically tied in chips now. Folds, yeah. There we are. Who knows who's going to win this, but I keep thinking I could put him away here. Folds, right, and doing a lot of folding to my raises before the draw. So getting a lot of kind of free. Do I call here? Oh, I fold. Oh, see, against a normal opponent, I would have called that. I fold because he's been so passive that I feel even against a, you know, whatever range he has. But maybe I should have called because you've got implied odds and everything. Decide to raise there. He calls. I don't love this, right? So I've got a pack queen. He bets half the pot. I have to let it go because I'm right at the bottom of my range there. If you're calling with that hand, you're calling there with absolutely everything. Wow. Glad I recorded this because it's quite a lot to unpack here, you know. So I have all the hands on, on my you know, hard drive somewhere. So 3-5-4. So this right now is the 300th hand of hands up. Heads up. Check, see the draw. Draw two, I think, here. Yeah. Make a king. I win that, gosh. Yeah, it's we're into uncharted. For me, this is definitely uncharted territory. What's interesting, he hasn't contemplated a deal or anything. So I decide to raise there, and unfortunately I go and miss, and that's a real bit of a body blow. It's a question whether I could have actually bluffed there, you know. I don't think bluffing there would have been such a terrible idea. Probably should have done. So it's not going to beat a lot, that hand, right? Yeah, I feel like I kind of, I still think I've been too passive here, you know, something I haven't done right. Decide to fold here when normally I'd. So that's a mistake too. I needed to at least see the draw there in some capacity. This is where I've been making a mistake. I think that's been the biggest mistake I've made in the heads up. I don't like limping, and so I decided to fold instead. Where actually I should be happy to limp against him. I don't think he's going to exploit that. Some people will. You've either got to raise or fold most of the time, but he's not somebody who's going to exploit that. I don't think. Um, he doesn't seem to be bothered by playing a long heads up though. So he's now got a 2-1 chip lead over me. I've got two threes. I think this is it. I go through a long period where I just don't have many hands now. So the numbers still keep ticking over. 665. Here's 666. Hmm. Right. Yeah. It seems to be going south for me here, doesn't it, all of a sudden? But yeah, still, who knows how many hands we're going to get. Ludicrous. Ludicrous stuff, this. There's not a lot going on at the moment. Do I call? No, I fold again. Ah, I feel like I'm kind of being a little bit tight now. Dear me. So I have a pat 10 here. He calls, which I'm very happy about. I think I just shove here. I think that's the only thing to do with this hand. And he's got no so now he makes number two on a two card draw. I didn't fold. I decided to call that. Maybe that was a mistake, right? Because now look at me. I'm pretty much crippled, aren't I? Look at me now. This could be all over for me now. You see, draws two. I draw one though. I hit. He only has a jack, so I stay alive. Whew. Still down by almost 3-1 here. Oh, again, I should have seen the draw there. 963, perfectly good enough to see the draw there with. So it's worth actually studying this and having a look and think, well, I should have done this differently. That's where I made my biggest mistake here was I win that little pot. So coming back a little bit here, lines up once again. So I've actually got less than 10 big blinds now. It's been so I think my record for heads up hands before this was around about 200. Well, we've just blown past this today, or whatever day this was, the night before last. Again, I made a mistake there by just folding. Yeah, I've done this far too often. Now you just open shoves, which you can do when your opponent's that short, like me. This one I think is fine to fold. You'd have to draw three there. That's a bit of a bugger because I had a really good draw there. Again, I had a good enough hand there to see the draw too. So yeah, need to be happy to just limp along here sometimes. Three sixes. Again, I need to see the draw there. Damn it! And this is yes, that was my mistake. Just folding when I should have just limped in. And if he's going to exploit it, great. But a lot of them don't, right? Especially him. I don't think he's going to exploit it. So again, he just shoves there, and it's looking pretty grim for me now, isn't it? So many all-ins and well, people surviving, but I was going to shove with that one if I give him the chance. Going to shove with this one. He folds, okay. You're getting close to the 700th hand now. Is this thing ever going to end? This time I draw two. Do I just shove here? I think I do. He folds, which is a shame. When you jam like that, you just want to get a call, and even if he has a better hand, well, so be it. Might get suspicious. It's going to jam that too. There's number 699. Decide to call this time. This time I decide to just call. So you got two. I draw two as well. Make a king. It's a good enough hand. And here's number 700. He folds. 701 coming up now. Right. How do I want to play this? Now I'm going to shove here. If he pats, I break. So I break here, right? If he out of and he's got a 10-8, and he eliminates me. And 701 hands, 347 of them were heads up. Never seen anything like that in my life before. I hope I don't get to see it again. It was real torture. It would have been fine if I won, but dear me, almost half the hands were heads up in that tournament. You just, yeah, hard to just get my head around what happened there. So, he never mentioned a deal. A lot of players will at least consider making it or like offer a deal. I never do that, by the way, but a lot of them do. I don't think I'd have accepted it though if he had, but and then the annoying thing about that was that the payout jump. There was that the winner got almost twice as much as the runner-up did. So, but anyway, can't can't complain too much, I suppose. I mean, if you come second in every tournament you play, you're going to be, you know, um, well, you wouldn't ever have to work again, that's for sure. Um, so that was ridiculous. It was utterly ridiculous. By the way, it's a really, really nice day today. Um, there's very, very little wind, blue sky. It's quite lovely. I've got kind of chores to do though today. So I've got to fix my bike. That's one thing. Got to do some shopping because yesterday the shops weren't open. Tomorrow the shops won't be open, so I'm gonna have to do it today. Hope it's not gonna be too busy. Just a lot of crap. Got some stuff to do for work as well. But that's yeah. Um, ugh, that's gonna be my day. I'm gonna have to pop out snooker. By the way, the World Snooker Championships start today. Rubbing my hands, gonna be great. So maybe I'll be able to uh, you know watch that out of the corner of my eye as well while I'm doing stuff. Would like to get out, but I need to fix my bike to do that properly. I've got. I can walk. I can walk. Anyway, that was me, and I hope. Oh, the despair, the agony of that heads up battle. Never had that before. So I hope I don't have it again. And yeah, you can see me again hopefully soon. Um, and yeah, Have a good day, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Goodbye.